Welcome everyone. This particular video is entitled Parallel and Perpendicular Lines, and we'll be looking at it in relationship to linear equations. So let's just go ahead and begin here. I'm going to move this over here, and please bear with me, just trying to see if I can making these videos, so hopefully this will look good. Okay, what I started off with here is I actually started off with a 5-minute check so that we can kind of review just some of the things you know how to do. And so in the previous lesson, they asked you what is the point slope form of an equation of a line that passes through the point 5, -5 with the slope n equals 2. So you've forgotten this is point slope form. It is a very easy form to do. So here's your x1 and your y1. And so what we're going to do is we're going to have y minus a -5 equals 2 times x minus 5. So I'm going to change that to y plus 5 equals 2 times x minus 5. And as you see, that's how they got the answer C. That's kind of what I wanted to show you, is how they actually got this answer. Okay, so going to the next one, they're doing the exact same thing. And so notice that y is 5, so when you look at these, it's going to be y minus 5, and that's the only one that would fit there. Remembering that it's y minus 5 equals -7/16, times x minus a -1. So that's the same thing as x plus 1. Okay, so that will give you D. Alright, let's just keep going. Okay, here they want you to put this in slope-intercept form. Now they've shown you an answer, let me show you how they got it. What you're going to do is you're going to distribute this 8/9 times x and times this. So you're going to have y minus 3 equals 8 times x, okay, plus, and if you don't know how to do this, just use your calculator. But basically 9 goes in 18 2 times, and then 2 times 8 should be 16. And then what you're going to do is you're going to add 3 to both sides, okay? So as you notice, you can eliminate a couple of them already because 8/3 don't work. You're going to have y is equal to 8 times x, and then it's going to be plus 19. And that's how they got D. Alright? Now, which equation has a graph that passes through this point? Those points, 3, 4, and -1, -4. What you have to do is find the slope first, and then once you find the slope, use either one of the ordered pairs. Okay, so let's find our slope, and so we're going to have -4 minus 4 over -1 minus 4. So it's going to be a -8 over a -4, so that's a +2. Okay, so that takes care of your slope. So that means you can use any one of these, but you have to have an ordered pair where you're either adding or you're subtracting. And so, oh, I'm sorry, yeah. So if I use the first order pair, I'm going to have y minus 4 equals 2 times x minus 3. Or I could have, if I use the second pair, I have y plus 4, because that's 1 minus a -4, equals 2 times x plus 1. So x minus a -1. So you kind of have to see, do you have any of these? And the only one that fits either one of these scenarios is D. Okay? So I'm moving right along here. Alright, so what we did in the previous lesson is we just talked about that. We wrote equations in point slope form. So now what we're going to be doing is we're going to write an equation of a line that passes through a given point parallel to a given line, and then write an equation of the line that passes through a given point perpendicular to a given line. So let's go ahead and get started. Your only two vocabulary words are going to be parallel lines and perpendicular lines. And if you have forgotten, parallel lines are two lines in the same plane that never intersect. And so that's usually how we write them, as parallel. And that's also the symbol. You guys will see this next year in geometry as well. And then perpendicular lines are lines, by definition, they're two lines that intersect to form right angles. And so usually you see people do that because that gives you a right angle, that gives you a right angle, and that. Now keep in mind, when you get to geometry next year, you'll find out that's only true if they actually put the symbol. If they don't put the symbol, you can't assume it. And just so you know, the symbol for perpendicular looks like that. Okay? So let's go on there. Okay? So the first thing they ask us to do is we're going to write the slope-intercept form of an equation for the line that passes through 4, -2, and it's parallel to the graph of y equals 1/2 x minus 7. So the first thing you want to do here is you have to remember what slope-intercept form looks like. It's y equals mx plus b. Okay, so in order to write an equation, remember we usually get a slope and an ordered pair. I have an ordered pair, but I don't have the slope. So how am I going to get the slope? I'm going to take the slope from this equation. What they didn't tell you is you have to remember is that lines are parallel if they share the same slope. So let me write that over here. Parallel lines, and remember that's the symbol, have the same slope. So you should write that down because you're going to need that again and again and again. Okay, so in this particular equation, slope is 1/2. So m is 1/2. And then I'm going to use the 4, -2. And then I'm going to do what we did in the last lesson. So if you didn't quite get it, we're still practicing that same skill. Okay, so it's going to be -2 equals 1/2 times, that's how we did it, times 4 plus b. Okay, so here's your y, here's your x, and the m we took from the problem. Okay, so it's going to be -2, is equal to half of 4 is 2 plus 4, plus b, sorry. We're going to subtract 2 from both sides. And when you do that, you're going to get b is equal to -4. So the equation of the line that passes through that point and it's parallel to this line is y equals 1/2 x minus 4. Now keep in mind we said the lines are parallel, so if they're parallel, they have to have the same slope. All you're really doing is finding b. Okay? Feel free to pause or stop at any time. Excuse me. Okay, and then they actually used point slope form. I don't personally never encouraged me to do that, but you could do that just as well. Okay, so now they're having you do the same thing, and if you like, I can show you how they would use point slope form to get it. Okay, so you're still doing the same thing. You have to remember point slope form. It's y minus y, so 1 equals m times x minus x, so 1. Now keep it in mind, you need the parallel line. So the parallel is 1/2. And then here's your xy. So y minus 3 equals 1/2 times x minus 2. Okay, so you have that. Now what you have to do is you need to put it in slope-intercept form. So we're going to distribute here. So you have y minus 3 equals 1/2 x minus half of 2 is 1. And now we're going to add 3 to both sides. So you're going to have y equals 1/2 x plus 2. And that's how they got C. So I've shown you both ways of how to do that, whether you go to slope-intercept form first, or whether you go to point slope and then slope-intercept form. Like I said, point slope is pretty easy, so I'm not surprised if you want to use that. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Now, this is a very common example, and you will see this again next year, where we give you a set of lines and you have to see if they're parallel or perpendicular. Now, what you have to know about perpendicular lines is that perpendicular lines, if you multiply the slopes, you should get -1, which means they're negative reciprocal. And so what they had you do here, they actually had you graph the line, okay, each line. And so they show you each one of the lines. Now, looking at it, you could say that this one and this one are parallel, and then this is parallel to both those two lines, okay? Well, that's all well and good, but how do you show that, okay? And for me, the easiest way that I show it is this is a slope-intercept form. So if I'm looking at y equals 1, sorry, I'll hit the button, sorry. Y equals 1/3 x plus 2. So m is 1/3 there, because remember y equals mx plus b. Now, what I normally do is I take the second equation and I do 2x minus 6y equals -5 I just solve for y. That's what I always do. So I subtract 2x from both sides. I'm showing you how to do it this way too. Negative 2x minus 5 divided by negative 6. And so you have y equals positive 1/3 x plus 5/6. Well, here this m is also 1/3, which means that these two lines are parallel. Now look at the third one, and we're going to do the same thing. So you have 3x plus y equals 12. I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. Remember, I always write the x first, so if y is equal to a negative 3x plus 12. Now this one has a slope of negative 3. The way you go from this slope to when it's perpendicular, you take the original 1/3, this is how I always did it, and that just means the next step. I'm going to flip the fraction so it becomes 3/1, and then I need to change the sign. When it's positive, now it's negative. So if two lines are perpendicular, if I multiply negative 3 times 1/3, I get a -1. If you're not sure about that, put it on calculator. I promise you it works. And so how I got that again is I took this slope, I flipped it, changed the sign. Again, I am so sorry. I'm a little tired. I flipped it and changed the sign, and that's how I got my new slope. So that's how I know that these first two lines are parallel. They have the same slope. This line is perpendicular to the other two because the slopes are negative reciprocals. Okay? They multiply to get a -1. That's what you're trying to go for. Okay? Now, here you're having to do the exact same thing again. I'm looking at these. None of them are parallel. It's kind of obvious. But it looks like these two are perpendicular. And so I think that was kind of easy to pick out. Okay, so you can probably do that just by looking. And if you have a graph, there's nothing wrong with that. Won't fly in geometry, just a heads up, but it works in algebra. Okay, so now here, what we're doing is they're having you write an equation that's parallel or perpendicular to a line through a given point. And so what they have you doing here is you're writing an equation in slope-intercept form for the line that passes through 4 and -1 and is perpendicular to the graph of 7x minus 2y equals 3. This example is going to seem difficult, but it really is okay. Okay. So the first thing you do is you find the slope of this line by solving for y. So they subtracted 7x from both sides, divided through by -2, and so they got y equals 7/2 x plus 3/2. So if you look at that, your slope is 7/2. Okay. Now, again, they say the slope of the perpendicular line is the opposite of reciprocal of 7/2. Flip it, change the sign, and that's how they get the new slope. Now, they took that slope, and then I'm going to flip back for just a second. This ordered pair, 4 and -1, and they substituted it into the equation, the point slope form. And then all they did was simplify it. So here they did minus a -1, it's +1. And they just kind of left that there. So then, oops, it was next. That's what I did. Okay. Then I'm trying new things. Okay. So now what they did is they did distributed properties. So if you do that, and you do -2/7 times x with -2/7 times 4, that's where they got those numbers. Because they did -2 times -4, which is +8. So that's how they got that, and then 7 times 1. Then what you do is you subtract 1 from both sides. Just feel free to use your calculator because you're going to subtract 7/7. Just use your calculator, it works much better. And then you get this answer, and that's how they get the line that is that's perpendicular to the given line through a particular point. Okay, this is one you definitely will want to watch again, just to make sure that you have it. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing here. First of all, we're going to solve this for y. And I think I must have left out the parallel ones, but those are usually pretty easy. So here I'm going to subtract x from both sides. So I'm going to have 4y equals -x plus 12. I'm going to divide through by 4. So y equals -1/4 x plus 3. So the slope that I have is -1/4. I want to flip it and change the sign. So my new slope is 4. I took -1/4, I flipped it, I changed the sign. And then I'm using the ordered pair -3, -2. So you're going to have, using y equals mx plus b, I'm going to have -2 equals 4 times -3 plus b. -2 equals -12 plus b. Add 12. So that b is 10. Okay, and then you already know your new slope was 4. So that's where they got b. So you would have y equals 4x plus 10. Okay? And again, like I said, these later examples, you definitely want to sit down, watch it again, that kind of thing. So let's try. Okay, so here we're going to kind of sum it up. Two lines are parallel if they have the same slope, and that's the symbol for it, and you can see that they're parallel. Two lines perpendicular, or two lines that are perpendicular if their slopes, the product of their slopes is -1. So you find the slope of this line, find the slope of this line, multiply them. If you get -1, you got it. But you can also see the picture, and if you notice this little box, that's the perpendicular symbol on a graph, and then this is the perpendicular symbol if you're writing it. Okay? And we're almost done. And actually we are done. So that's the end of this video.